Wherever you're watching around the world, this is NRL Season 4 Round 1. We are racing here in Bahrain, and this is the short version, aka the Sakhir. It's not the real life one as last year, but the short variant in the game. My name is Wiert. I'm the new commentator this season, and I have a co-commentator myself. Let's introduce yourself, please.
Hello everyone, I am Zach. I'll be joining alongside of this season. So it's looking to be pretty good. We're kicking off the season in Bahrain, and well, it's going to be a long race. Let's see how the people can kick it off today.
Yeah, we're starting off with this 18-minute qualifying session. It's going to be easily 4 runs, don't you think?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you've got 4 sets of tyres, you've got the medium, and then the 3 sets of soft, depending on what tyre allocation you chose. But yeah, I'm going to imagine some people going out on the mediums for a quick little bank lap to acclimatise themselves to the circuit, then probably a few soft runs. Of course, this is a very short circuit, only probably sub-minute lap times in qualifying. So, I mean, it is crucial you get those laps in because every tiny little bit of time counts.
Yeah, we'll get these guys going while we wait for the yes, there we go. The 18 minutes have started, so yeah, this season 4 we're both new to the commentary team here, so you are not familiar with any racing of NRL in the past. So last year's champion Honzi, now in the Ferrari, he will be defending his title. His teammate Dace, he did a very good job last year as well. He will team up with him. We'll be expecting a lot from Ferrari this season. As the first guys are heading out, did you do any racing yourself here on the short variant, Zach?
I've done a little bit. I mean, it is very crucial you stay close to the car in front. Of course, you've got the 2 DRS straights, the one down towards turn 1 and then the one down towards what is usually turn 11. So it is very crucial. The short nature, there's not many corners. A lot of it is flat out. So DRS is going to be crucial. So from lap 3 onwards, I'm going to be sure we're going to see a long DRS train. Yeah,
I'm also quite eager to see how these drivers use their ERS, because you said it yourself, it's most of the times it's flat out. It will be pretty hard to regain any ERS.
Yeah, exactly that. There's not a long time spent on the brakes, as we can see the Alfa Romeo of Delta now starting his lap time off the back of the final corner. Drag reduction system open all the way to the left hand side, very easy to miss the braking point down towards turn 1. You want to be looking out for the 100 board just before, down the gears as quick as you can, use the camber on the inside. Bit of a lock up from the Alfa Romeo driver as he negotiates through turn 2, very nicely on the power. Want to keep it to the left hand side and swing it over, really open up turn 3 there for you, and then down towards the straight. Bit of a dip, but shouldn't unsettle the car too much. Drag reduction system open for the second time, goes powerful to the first sector as he is the first to set a lap time here, and now coming towards this left-hander, sorry, I should say. Braking just before the 50 and really want to chuck it in and then through up the hill, flat towards this quick right-hander. Want to brake just as the delta changes, as the time stops. Goes a little bit wide, but not too bad, using all of the circuit to his advantage there. 44.3 to the middle sector. This is looking like a pretty good lap time. You want to be aiming for around about the 57 mark, I would say, maybe on a good lap, and he hooks up the final corner pretty nicely. DRS open as he crosses the line. What is it going to be? Going to be a 58.6, a pretty decent time, and it looks pretty hooked up for the Alfa Romeo there.
Yeah. As we hop on to another guy going on a fast lap, it was Rogers, puts in a 58.4 with provisional pole now. So we see lots of drivers setting in their first time, their banker laps. So yeah, you just said a 57, that would be the aim, as Kachau puts in his first lap is a 58.1. Yeah, that we are getting close to the 57s already.
Yeah, we are. I mean, Kachal with a great lap time, 3/10 clear of Rogers already, as Marco also goes in with a 58.3. The thing about this circuit is there's not a lot of time to make up time. There's not many corners. The main times you're going to be making up time is turn 1, 2 and 3, maybe down towards turn 4, but the rest of it's just completely flat out. So every little tiny tenth of a second counts, and it is looking very, very close from 4th down to about 6th. They are pretty much separated by not a lot, and the Renault and McLaren there of, I believe, Little and the other Renault, I'm not too sure, looking for a tow, because slipstream again is also very important around here.
Yeah, as we're watching now the Williams of Jerdy, as he is the one of the only ones on a hot lap right now, as most of the guys just started their lap. Let's see what he puts in. He will start off with a 58.6, that's pretty solid time. Yeah, I guess we're gonna see very, very close times near the end of the session. Of course, we have the track will get better along the session. The track will get warmer. There will be more grip, so the times will get up. Yeah, I'm expecting to be in the 57s. Yeah, I'm expecting that. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully so. I mean, as you say, the track is going to improve over the course of the session as Domi actually goes into P2. We're yet to see a quick time from the reigning champion. He's done his banker lap on the medium tyre, and of course the medium tyre can be a little bit slower than the softs, but currently sits with a 59.1. Probably going to go a little bit quicker than that. But yeah, as you say, the track is going to improve. Track evolution is going to be very vital around here. As the cars go around it, 150, 200 miles an hour, they're using the friction, and the rubber of the tyres is getting laid down. So that is just fresh grip for the cars to use, and that is really going to help them as they progress through the session. So yeah, I mean, we're already on the brink of a 57 now. We've still got quite a few people yet to set a lap time, so I'm not going to be surprised if we see maybe a high 57 in a couple of minutes' time.
As we watch Exotic, just invalidates at the penultimate corner. That's a shame for the Mercedes driver. He'll have to set for another run. As Honesy went for his second lap on the medium, so he hasn't been able to get a good lap in on the mediums. In my knowledge, I've watched some league racing here on Bahrain Short, and I've seen that the alternate strategy here is very, very strong, meaning the hard to mediums. So expecting that P11 will be probably the ideal position to start. But we'll see what most drivers go for. I think Kachao, Domely, Mark of Kenya, those guys who set a low 58 will probably have to deal with the softs as I don't think they will get another better medium run in. But we'll have to see what's going to happen as we are watching Delta Lima right now in the Alfa Romeo, going for his second run. Going down for the second DRS zone. Really gets on the power early there. Seems like a good lap from the Alfa Romeo driver. Really hooks it up there. Let's see what's second sector. Not purple, but he's up by almost a tenth.
Catapult him a couple of positions here. Everyone very close. Ted to Delta, separated by less than a tenth. Let's see what we can do. DRS open as he crosses the line. Is it going to be an improvement? Yes, it is. Up to P8. A pretty good time then. And just to allude more on what you were saying with the alternate strategy, I believe I also very much agree the alternate strategy is going to be very, very crucial. And Toxic at the moment is looking very, very good in P11, of course, on the cusp of the top 10 and going to have that free choice of tyres. So as you said, the alternate strategy is going to be looking pretty good. You're going to have a slower start, but as long as you can keep with the DRS, you're going to have a very, very much quicker tyre towards the end of the race.
Yeah, as Mr. Wood set a purple sector time, 3/10 up on his previous set. As Domely gets involved very close. I hope that doesn't ruin his lap. Still going with the McLaren and the Mercedes right in front of him. Both getting out of the way, very good. as he's 6 tenths up on his last run, which gets him into a low 59. We'll see his run up to the line. Seems like a pretty solid exit. What's his time gonna be? It is a low 59 to 59 flat, which puts him up to P15. So we're watching Honesy. Honesy now on his first soft run. He is up by a couple of tenths. Of course, that was his medium run. Let's see what he can do here.
Very quick middle sector.
8 tenths up. Yeah, that seems quick from the reigning champion. Coming up to the line. Let's see where he puts his car. He puts it on provisional pole with a 58 flat. Still, as Rogers gets into the 57s. Very good lap there from the McLaren. Missed it, but
very
oh. We're watching Donnelly. He will be the first to get up to the line. Will he improve? He does. Also into the 57s. Very close there. Only 6 thousandths of a second there to P1 and P2.
Yeah, exactly. I guess we predicted it right, that it was going to be a very close qualifying session. The top 3 separated by, what is that, about 700ths of a second fraction. Probably about the duration of a blink of an eye between the two. Almost identical lap times. It just goes to show how crucial everything is, and the reigning champion already catapulted himself up to the top 3. But what a good lap from Rogers and Donnelly, both first to break the 58 barriers. We'll have to see what Kachau can do now. He's on his outlap looking to improve. Currently sits at 58.171. Going to need a couple attempts to improve, but it looks as though we were right. The track is getting a lot quicker now. It's rubbing in.
Yeah. As we're watching the Red Bull of Will Ans now sitting in P6, will he be able to get his bull up further up to the front of the grid? So he roars to sector 2. The penultimate corner seems to be having a little slow exit there. Yeah, he's up above it, down by 2 tenths. Let's see if he just chucks it into the pits here. Oh, he has a little moment there. He abandons his lap. Whoa, we have a spinner in Mark of Kenya at the Haas. Seems like he's okay. I can't really see. He's still on track, so let's see what we.
Hasn't killed the tires just yet.
Yeah.
Must have been the turn, the curb on the inside really does unsettle the car, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. It's yeah, you can't touch it. You see that's in the real Formula 1 some drivers do touch it, so maybe that's something Codemasters needs to work on for next year's game. As Judy abandons his lap there, as Kachau puts in a purple middle sector in the Alfa Romeo, coming up to the line. Pretty good exit here. P4 now. P3, he moves also into the 57s. Very close here in the top 4. Only split by 7 thousandths of a second. It's nothing.
It is nothing at all. Kachau really does hook up the lap, but he gets to the last corner. He mounts that inside curb for the last corner. Not something you often see people do. They often get really close to it, but don't mount it. Does that hurt his exit a bit? Could that have been pole if he'd have just hooked it up a little bit better?
Yeah, I do think when you hook it up, it does unsettle the car. It's a very difficult corner on traction already. You don't want a car bumping around, so maybe you'll do it on the other run. Here you see Delta Lima really kissing that curb, his teammate, while he puts into the pits. Let's see who is on a hot lap now. Kali Rob seems in the Williams, holding P7 at the moment. Coming up to the second DRS zone. It's a little bit late on the DRS. As we have 5 minutes left in this session, I reckon 1 or 2 runs if you really want to. As we have Rogers, the McLaren in 2 tenths up on his time. Coming up to the line. Ooh, little swirly on the exit.
Nice.
P5, good lap there. Yeah, as we current standings, Rogers in the McLaren in P1, Donnelly in the Mercedes P2, Kachau in the Alfa Romeo in P3, Honesy starting his lap right now, the reigning champion in the Ferrari in P4. Going for 2 more runs, I reckon. He has the time for it. Starting now. Turn 1, little deep there, going on the power early, really mounting that curb, going in deep, opening it up here for the longer straight. Really keeping it close to minimize the distance here. I think we have a good lap here on our hands from the champion. Keeps it really tight here through the left, really tight through the right, bracing that curb. Again, mounting this one. What for sector 2 times? Oh, he's down. He's down on his time. But the last sector, I don't know if he had a good last sector. Maybe he'll get it. Oh, very early on the power. No, he'll put it in. He'll comes back into the pits for another run.
Just goes to show how crucial every corner is. I mean, it looked pretty hooked up, but just compared to his delta, it was that close, and a 4/100th delta difference made him pit and abandon his lap, because it is so crucial to get like every bit of time you can out of the car. His teammate down in P8 of Days currently sits on a 58.4, but very close mid pack, separated by virtually nothing.
Yeah, the times are really close. That is to be expected. As Will is on a purple second sector, he's up on his time by 0.5 tenth. Will the Red Bull driver be able to improve on any position? Oh, he's very squarely on the exit, and he has to come in again. Days, I think, goes for his lap now. He gave up along the way. Will he chuck it back into the pits? No, he does start for his lap. The Ferrari driver starting his lap, looking at the McLaren of Stuart Little, currently sitting in P12 with a 58.5. Yeah, a 10th will put him in P8. So that shows you how close it all is together. Only a tenth of a difference will put you in many places, as he gets great slipstream from the Red Bull in front of him. Will that be of any help of him? We'll
every little helps around here. I mean, he's picking up a little bit, won't pick up too much turbulent air, but a little bit of a dash to the line, and even just a 10th will promote him a position.
Ooh, no, he did improve by 1,000, but that isn't enough for a position. As Zandvoort is abandoning his lap, as Stuart Little just continues for another one. Same for Delta Lima, which gets massive slipstream there from Honesy. So the big brother helps the small brother out here in Ferrari Alfa Romeo. Delta Lima still there in P14. Really mounts that curb. Getting a good exit here, the penultimate corner. Up to the line, he's up by 2 tenths. That will be a lot of places for him. That is probably a good exit there for the Alfa Romeo, and it'll put him in P10. That is a good position to start for your last run.
So the top 5 all out on their next laps. Here's the reigning champion of Honesy coming towards turn 1.
Ooh, he's going out of the way there for Donnelly, excuse me. Yeah, he is on a quick lap now.
He is. I mean, currently says P2 and only 6,000ths of pole position. Going to try and maximise the tow from the Alfa Romeo. Every little helps. He is down to the first sector though. What can Rogers do? It is crunch time now for all of these leaders to get a good lap in. Rogers currently sits for original pole, just wants to secure that a little bit more. But Donnelly and Honesy both messing up their lap time a little bit. So is it down to now Kachau and Rogers?
Yeah, we'll see what the second sector is of Donnelly. He's down a little bit. Rogers is up by almost a 10th. So the McLaren looking good. Both his teammate and the Alfa Romeo go out of the way. Oh, he goes wide. Does he can he keep that? Oh no, he invalidates. As Kachao just moves on for this, he's up by 33 thousandths of a second going into the last corner, up to the line. He's the only one able to improve out of the top 3. Will he manage to do so? He does, and goes pole with a 57.9.38. Very good lap there from the Alfa Romeo. As Kali Rob gave up, Stuart Little, only Will Ans still on a lap, but he is up by a 10th. Will he be able to improve? He will. He improves up to P6. He puts his Red Bull on the third row of the grid. I think that is everyone. That is our qualifying session. So, what do you think? What are your thoughts on this session, Zach?
Well, I mean, very, very close. Just over a second covering the entire field. Just goes to show how close it was. Caddy Rob doing a 58 dead. Going to be gutting for him that he didn't break the 57 barrier. But very, very close, and Kachao just hooked it up in the final run, and that's how he got provisional pole. Rogers bottled it, Dommy Lee bottled it, and the reigning champion down in P5. This is looking like an incredibly close grid, and we're in for a good race, I reckon.
Yeah, I think Jurdy managed to snatch the alternate pole position. Curious also that Tos de Caber didn't set a qualifying time. Well, it could be that he has a qualifying ban still standing from last year's, but I'm not sure. As we walk together through the standings, Kachao managed to snap pole with a 57.9. Followed by Rogers with the same 57.9, only 34 thousandths sharing between those guys. Domely closed by 6 thousandths of Rogers. Then 22 thousandths apart from that is Kali Rob. We can go on. It's so close. Only every guy who set a solid time. It's just over a second in gap. So I think we have a very good race on our hands as the drivers make their strategies and tire compounds. Strategy-wise, what do you think will be the case?
Probably a one stop. You do not want to make any unnecessary pit stops in this, because you're not going to gain that much time so quickly because of the short nature of the track. Tires aren't going to play as big of a factor in this race, so I'm going to suggest if you're outside the top 10, probably a hard to medium, stay in that DRS as much as you can, conserve your energy recovery system, and if you're inside the top 10, soft to hard, you're going to have to try it and just hope and stretch those softs as long as you can. Probably pitting around the lap 20 mark, I would say, if you can stretch them.
Yeah, the league races, some league races that I saw, I think some guys almost stretched it to 23, 24. Yeah, you might be running on steel after that, but I think lap 20 for the soft guys would be fairly reasonable. Otherwise, yeah, I think hard to mediums will be the only viable strategy. Safety car wise, what do you think? What are your thoughts on that? What do you expect?
Well, I mean, with everyone so close, of course, that naturally increases the chance of a safety car coming out, because there's more chance of an incident happening. So we'll have to just wait and see how they get on, and hopefully they don't, try and send it into turn one. You can't win it, but that definitely does help sending it into turn one. But you need to be careful with it, and obviously the first round of the season, they're going to want to impress, but they don't want to overstep the mark.
Yeah, I think the first 3 laps will be very important, as there's no DRS, so it will all be of exits. Exits will be very important. Otherwise, you will be draining your ERS battery. While we get started, only 20 seconds till lights out. Yeah, I'm expecting a banger of a race here. I can't wait.
Neither can I. Slipstream and DRS is going to be crucial. Everyone's going to want to be playing the long game in this. Don't want to send it. And I'd honestly say, if you're leading the race for the first stint, you're not in the greatest of positions, because you don't have that guy to tow off. You don't have the guy to save the ERS off. It's a very similar story to the likes of Austria or Monza.
Yeah, Yeah, some tracks it's not ideal to start on pole. We'll see how Kachau manages. If I'm correct, he is the runner-up of last seasons, so he's no slouch. Yeah, we're getting along as we're waiting for Dace, the American driver, solid driver. As we're waiting for him, I don't know what is going on. Takes longer than usual. Hope he is okay.
You would not want to be the one to lag out just before the race starts, because you can't actually join back until lights out, otherwise it glitches out the lobby, so would not be the ideal start to the season for Dace. And being the teammate of the reigning champion, you need to be up there to try and help score some points.
Yeah, we won't see the Ferraris on the podium very often in real life, I assume, but on the in the NRL we'll probably we'll see them up there a couple of times this season, as we're still waiting on the Ferrari here. I don't know what is going on. Hope he is we're doing okay and we can continue the stream and the race. Yes, there we go. So we have a formation lap. Quickly go through all the drivers again. Starting off with Kachau, second Rogers in the McLaren, followed by Donnelly, Calirop, Honesy, Willans, Stuart Little, Mark of Kenya, Tedwardo, Dace in the top 10. Then Jurdy, P11, Delta Lima, Zandvoort, Tiny Darth Spike, Exotic, Sam Spaniel, Mr. Wood, and in the end, rounding off the grid is Tosta Gaber, who just collided with Mr. Wood and is disqualified from the formation lap, which will result in cold tires. Yeah, well, they can't be overtaken as they're in the back of the grid, so that is the only fortunate thing about that. Kachau is leading the pack, and every guy is warming up their tires. Any last minute thoughts on before we start?
Well, pretty much everyone outside the top 10, apart from a couple, have gone for the medium, so going for that alternate strategy. And we'll have to see how they get on. But Jurdy, the one you'd expect to be wanted on the mediums, has actually gone for the soft compound tyres.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how strategy plays a factor. But you can all see him weaving around, getting that friction, getting the heat into the tyres to have an optimal start. And Kachau leading them around, really going to back them up and then line up on the grid ahead of 5 red lights. And I'm sure we're going to have a very nice run down towards turn 1. Not the longest run, but turn 1 and 2 both switch back on each other, which could be very interesting.
Yeah, well, as Kachau just is starting to find his starting position at the front of the grid as we're watching for lights out. Yeah, curious that no driver went for the hards outside of the top 10. Almost everybody went for the mediums, so it will be the mediums to hard, I reckon, instead of the other way around. As we're ready to get started, 2 lights, 3 red lights, 4 red lights, 5 lights, and we are off for NRL Season 4 Round 1 Bahrain short. Kachau manages to get a very good start, as does Rogers and Donnelly. Donnelly almost passes the McLaren around the outside for turn 1. It's getting very close. Oh, as Calirop and Honesy have a little contact there. Honesy moves up to P4. D. Rogers holds his around the inside there for Donnelly. Retakes P2 for getting very close there. As all the guys are settling in right now, we had nobody. Oh, Will Ans had an unfortunate moment there. It seems like he lost his wing. For the rest, it seems like everybody had a solid start. We do have a yellow flag there in sector 2. Oh, Mark of Kenya hit the barriers there. Seems like he is doing. He can still continue. For the rest, we have a race on our hands here. Everybody is still in this. No real big gaps so far. Yeah.
Everyone keeping it sensible. Dommy Lee really wanting to get the ground running from P3. Got Holmes, actually, I believe Rogers now having to attack the race leader of Cachao, who goes defensive. He's going to set up the switchback, maybe bait the Alfa Romeo. He's going to go for it, going to keep his footing around the outside. It may turn in to the inside of turn 4 if he can keep it there, but going to go very wide. And the Alfa Romeo really trying to keep in front at this stage in the race. Got a little bit of a timing glitch, but the McLaren just trying to stick with them now. And it is so crucial they stick together. Do not want to battle and lose DRS, and that was probably the worry between Dommy Lee and Rogers, that they were going to lose the DRS, but they just need to crunch time now. 57 laps ahead of them. There is no need to make any rash judgments as the tower sorts itself out now, but luckily we didn't get too many first lap incidents. Everyone kept it relatively cleanly.
Yeah, as most of the drivers keep on. Callirop, as we get their first penalty here. Zandvoort picks up his 3-second time penalty. Only after 3 laps, we almost have an hour of racing as Delta Lima goes wide. And can Dace take advantage of that? It seems like he can. It's a drag race, which the Alfa Romeo will win. It seems like, will Dace be able to outbrake? No, it doesn't seem like. He will settle for P9 and be patient. As Honesy and Stuart Little seem to have a little battle here. Honesy, of course, the reigning champion, sitting in P4 now. Closing up here to the McLaren in front of him, as Domely and Cachao getting very close here in the early stages of this race. As Stas de Kewer leaves the session, hope he will be able to rejoin. Because he's a very solid driver and we'd like to see him. And we have another spinner. It's the Haas of San Spaniel. So both Haases have spun now. We're looking at real life Bahrain almost.
Pretty much so. The Haas is not having the best of times at all. Both now down towards the back of the grid, but here is Dommy Lee on the back of Cachao. Is he going to go for the move? He is closing fast. Cachao to the inside, bit of a middle move to cover him off, and Dommy Lee to the outside. Is he going to go for it around the outside? It will turn to the inside of turn 2. He is going to stick his car there. Can he get the traction? Yes, he can. So close to contact for the Alfa Romeo once again. Just about hanging on, and he's going to look to the inside of turn 4 once again. Going to have DRS down towards what I believe to be turn 5, and Cachao straight to the inside, but they are both burning through their ERS, which is going to allow Rogers to just sit behind and save. 70% ERS he's got compared to Dommy Lee, who's only got around 40%. And another spinner, I believe, was that
it's the Williams of Jurdy. As he manages to continue, I don't know what happened there, who he collided with, but he was quite up there. I think, as Mark of Kenya puts in the fastest lap with a 101 flat. He of course pitted after that lap 1 collision. Starting lap 5 already. This will be of course these are quick laps. Oh, as there's a Red Bull standing still. It's, I don't know, they both seem to have crashed. Zandvoort and Will Ans both are fairly slow. As Mr. Wood put the moves in on Delta Lima. Have a very close fight still. There's no real big gaps up to P7. So it's anybody's game still up to lap 5. It seems we have a 7-man group here.
A very long train, and what is to be expected, of course. The Haas and the Red Bull pairing both not having the best of times, as you said, but Dommy Lee did manage to get into the lead of the race ahead of Cachao, now leading and trying to stretch his legs. Did burn through a lot of ERS. The energy recovery system, of course, if you don't know, when they brake, they convert that heat energy to chemical energy to, charge a battery, which powers a motor to give them about 140 brake horsepower extra. That's probably double your road car extra. There's a racing point off towards the back. Is that Ted in P7 gone off and falling down the grid? Bit of a spin coming off the final corner there. Definitely not ideal, but it's all kicking off at the front. Everyone just trying to settle in. Lap 6 of 57. These laps are dropping off like flies.
Yeah, it's almost a minute lap. It's 101s they're driving right now. I think the medium runners are doing a little bit slower, but of course the mediums are getting into play more and more as the race progresses. Exotic in the Mercedes in P8, now the leading medium runner. Closely followed by the Renault of Mr. Wood. Both guys seem to be in good positions as they can continue, and the gap isn't that far. It's only a second or 5 to the main pack. As Dace tries to close in to that main pack, and going all the way from Domely to the Williams of Kali Rob. As we're going again, Kachau goes hunting for that main position of the Mercedes. Does he go for a move up to turn 1? He doesn't seem like. He sets it up maybe for the other straight. I think, as Honesy tries to get up the inside of the McLaren, does he get enough room? No, he almost spins. He loses out the position to the other McLaren of Stuart Little. As they both get along now side to side. Honesy with Kali Rob going into the fast left-hander. Will he be able to hold on? It does look like it. Williams managed to get a switch back. No, he's just too far out. Honesy stays in P5, but does he needs to get back up to the front if he wants to get a good start here in this championship. We have a yellow flag in sector 2. Mr. Wood, he seems to have touched the curb there, going on into... No, he didn't. I don't know where he spun then. It's an odd place to spin. Not seen a safety car so far with that many incidents. That seems odd, doesn't it?
Yeah, but we've had no sort of terminal damage, so no one really stuck on the track. Nice little battle between Ted and Dart's bike, as it looks like the Racing Point is going to try and recover from his earlier spin. But as you said, no safety car yet, because probably no terminal damage. That was very close between Stuart Little and Honesy there. I think it was more of a lag bubble. I don't know if you saw that, but now Honesy on the outside of Rogers coming down the second gear straight.
Days left the session. I don't know. He seems to have lagged out a little bit. I don't know what happened to the connection of Stuart Little. He seems to be lagging all over the place. Right now is sitting in P6. Lost the position to his teammate, to Kali Rob and to Honesy. Honesy is on a march. He's up to P3 already. He's past the McLaren of Rogers. I don't know if he made a mistake. Honesy sets a purple middle sector. He seems like he's on a charge.
He really does. He's bloody making quick work of these guys. He didn't get the best of starts, obviously fell back a couple of laps ago, but he's quickly recovered. 8 tenths off the race leader, and Domely just covering off the inside to let Kachau know he's not going to let him through easily. And the more they battle, the easier it is. Zandvoort's retired, and there's a virtual safety car.
There's a virtual safety car. That will play in the hands of some guys, I think. There's still a couple people coming up to the pit lane. Yeah, Mr. Wood, he's still in doubt. He decides not to. That's a big crash there then from Zandvoort. It seems like he touched the curb and spun wide and just hit the wall. Terminal damage. That is a shame. It's not a good start for the Red Bulls. As we have a little timing glitch again, I don't know why, and we have green flags again. We're off. A full yellow now in. I think the lobby might be glitched. I'm not sure.
Hopefully not, and hopefully it's green flags for them. There is yellow flags popping up on the light, so probably is yellow flags still for them. Are they allowed to overtake? I'm not entirely sure, but hopefully that VSC hasn't really damaged the race. There's a back marker of Will now coming out. As you said, the Red Bulls not having the best of days at all, but it's still coming up with yellow flags, so they're probably not able to overtake without having to hand it back.
I'm not sure. I have experienced this myself in a China League race where it was laggy all over the place. Like Stuart Little now sitting, he is in P16 according to the timetables, but he definitely isn't. Yeah, I'm not sure what is going on. As Kachau ignored a yellow flags, causing him to get a 5-second penalty, as well as Kali Rob, as well as Jurdy. So yeah, it is causing some glitches. I don't know what is happening. I'll get in contact with some people while we're speaking, as we'll just go on, continue, as we have another full caution and straight back to green. It seems like we have an odd race on our hands now.
really does. Holmesy going backwards once again. Look to get up the inside of Kachow, but Rogers then just swooping around the outside of a compromised Ferrari. Very nicely done and opportunistic from Rogers there, but that's really going to affect the morale of Kachow now. He's got a 5-second penalty that is arguably unjust, and now another full course yellow that will probably change back to green flags immediately. So very strange. Rogers looking to the inside of Kachow, who's now falling off the back of Domi Lee. So this 5-second penalty really affecting his morale and his confidence in this race, and hopefully he can get it removed or something can happen. But again, it's just switching off between full course yellows and then a green flag. So not too entirely sure what Zabor's crash has caused here. Only a VSC, but it's just completely messed up the lobby, and a lot of people now getting time penalties for ignoring yellow flags, because obviously the rule is you're not allowed to overtake under yellow flags, but the game, I don't know what it's doing. It just doesn't recognise that the track's clear.
Yeah, I think this happens when you retire before it's back to green. When you leave the lobby before it's back to green, then you have the possibility of it being stuck. Yeah, we'll keep everybody updated on everything back screen. We'll keep watching the race race unfold before our eyes as Honesy now charging up to that podium position, which he lost again to the McLaren. Don't know how to overtake under yellow flags, but it seems like he did.
Yeah, I mean, just a really strange turn of events. They're all still in the DRS train and still, really there, and Kachow finally finding his stride again and getting back onto the back of Domi Lee, who is really nicely dealing at the front, but very deep from Kachow. That's going to affect his exit. Could Rogers maybe have a look? He's got the overtake enabled, he's going to have the DRS, he's got the closing speed, slipstream, of course, the Alfa Romeo punching the hole in the air. Is it enough? Because of course Kachow will have DRS and slipstream from the car in front, so it looks as though everyone is just going to stay stationed. Stuart Little maybe looking to the inside of the Williams. They contact and he's sent them round. Luckily both managed to keep going, but definitely not good for the McLaren, as he's now going to fall off the back and maybe lose a bit of DRS, as well as Cali Rob going to lose a bit of DRS. So that's really affected him, as it has it now turned into a four horse race at the front.
Yeah, if they can get out of the DRS zone, which they are right now, chances are Cali Rob and Stuart Little just have lost out doing their little battles. As Cali Rob needs to pull all plugs here to get into the DRS zone, which he is right now. Stuart Little isn't in Cali Rob's DRS, so it looks like then that Stuart Little is the one really missing out on the party here. Cali Rob regained his DRS, so he will be able to get back into this train. Yeah, of course, the thing about DRS trains is that it's very difficult to overtake when you're in third. Kachow, of course, in a box position to overtake here because the car in front doesn't have DRS. But so far he hasn't been able to set up a real attack and charge by.
No, not quite yet at the moment. But as is usually the case, bit of a scrum from Kachow there actually, as he gets on the power a little bit too early, similar to what I believe it was Mr. Woot did a couple of laps earlier. But Mark of Kenya with some blistering pace, setting fastest lap after fastest lap, really showing what he could have done had he not had a first lap incident. But yeah, as you say, he hasn't really been able to mount a challenge just yet. Maybe just trying to siege Domi Lee out, make him bait his ERS a little bit, maybe show his nose or whatever it might be, just sit behind, save some fuel. We don't know. But yeah, with DRS trains, it really is just a massive tow hook that you just latch onto the back of the car and just stay with them no matter really what your pace is, especially around Bahrain Short. So luckily Cali Rob managed to get that tow hook onto the back of Honesy, and Stuart Little hasn't managed to be able to do that again. Yellow flash was sector 3. What's happened there?
Tiny Dar Spike had a spin in the last corner. Unfortunate there for the Renault driver. So we'll head back up to the field again, up to the front, as we have a very close battle here for the podium positions. Everybody up to P5, still in the DRS zone. So it's still anybody's game. It's also 5 different teams, so that's also good to see that all teams can get good points here in this league.
Yeah, exactly that. not at all reminiscent of real life, and a lot more competitive when it comes to it. So nice to see these 5 different drivers and 5 different teams all fighting it out at the front and very closely latching together. But just a quick thing, it seems that the bad luck comes in pairs. You know, if your teammate's having bad luck, it's almost certain that you're going to have bad luck. We've seen both Red Bulls, both Hasses, and now both Renaults have a couple of spins.
Yeah, and yeah, we've seen the Tedwardo he's still in it. He's on the mediums. Exotic, he only lost 10 seconds. This lap, this is the earliest you could come in if you're on a soft to hard strategy. I suppose you can you wanna stretch them for a couple of laps still, but Exotic in a very good position, being able to continue way longer than the rest of the drivers, and have the fresher rubber near the end, which will make a huge difference near the end of this race.
Exactly, with such a long race, I mean, tyre degradation isn't as prevalent, but definitely does help, and being on that fresh tyre towards the end, and Exotic really is driving that force up, driving the alternate strategy, so just going to have to see what he can do towards the end of the race. Time will tell if the alternate strategy is the right way to go or not. 10 seconds is a lot of time to make up. We'll have to see how it plays out, but everyone at the front working together nicely, just thinking, well, it's not worth fighting just yet. You can see the top 3 all above, well, second, third and fourth all above 50% ERS. It looks as though Domi Lee using a little bit too much. It seems he's not been able to save as efficiently as Chow, Rogers or Holmesy at the moment.
So we'll have a quick look at the position changes. Domi, of course, being the big winner, gaining 2 positions, leading this race as far. Exotic, of course, the driver we just talked about, gaining 8 positions in his first stint. So he's on the charge as well. Being on the other strategy, I think he is in a good position to get some good points for him. As for his team, we have a yellow. It seems like a Haas, the Haas of Sam Spaniel, which has spun on probably on the inside curb of the fast right-hander. It seems like that's a devil for many people today.
Yeah, it seems so, going 2 by 2 at the front, sideways from the reigning champion as he tries to get past the McLaren, but Kachal getting past Domi Lee, and then the McLaren looking to get past the Ferrari, but he's just about managed to save that. It looks as though the McLaren went a little bit wide, now also under pressure from the Williams, so really is all kicking off now, and Kachal re-inherits the race lead, and Domi Lee going to have to play second fiddle now. So all kicked off at the front while Sam Spaniel was having a go, but as you said, yeah, this corner really is not playing very nice, and even then Domi Lee going a bit wide and having to overcorrect himself a little bit there. So even the top guns at the front really even struggling with it. So it is a very, very tough corner to master, and they've got to do it 57 times. It's not going to be easy.
Well, it should. They should get used to it if they do it so many times. As still nobody in this train daring to go for the undercut. Everybody remains on track in their original places in this train. Leading by Kachau now, which has overtaken Domi Lee. Domi Lee in second, Holmesy in third, Rogers fourth, Kalirop in fifth, and Stuart Little ends that train in sixth. He's just outside of the DRS. He was in for the last one, so he made a little mistake there. Has to use a lot of ERS here to stay by, or maybe he does get it from Will in front. I'm not sure. Then Exotic in P7, Delta Lima right up Exotics, going into side by side into the left-hander. Will Delta Lima hold it around the inside there as they go still side by side? No, not anymore. He goes, no, that's that is way too opportunistic move there. Brother wait for the DRS zone as Exotic and Delta Lima really start battling it out for the lead medium place. That is of course the position you want to be in when you're on the alternate strategy.
Exactly, you want to be the driving force to get them ahead, but the last thing they want to do is take each other out. They have to work together, but Delta Lima not having any of it, going to soar past with the closing speed and get past up into P7, so probably in Zotic's best interest maybe to just sit behind. Is that a change at the front? Yes, it is. The Alfa Romeo and the Ferrari going side by side down towards turn 5, very nicely done, and the Ferrari having to concede there on this particular occasion, but Holmesy really getting his fighting gloves on and wanting to get past, but Kachau not having any of it, really showing how well well he can defend today.
And there's a little lock up there from Kachau, but he manages to stay in front, keep his Alfa Romeo in second position. So we're watching from the rear view of Kachau's car, going up to the main straight. We'll be able to see Honesy closing in if he can. Of course, Kachau closing in on Domely as well. Does set up a move here. Side by side, Honesy very close on the braking. As we have Kalirup moves up to P4. No, Rogers manages to keep P4 still. Oh, as we go on to the... I almost forgot that that we're on the short track. I thought, why are they braking all of a sudden? But we're still good. Kachau manages to regain his to hold his second place after that charge from Honesy there.
It's all kicking off at the front at the moment. I mean, not at all playing second fiddle. Kachau looking for him on Domely, and then Honesy, of course, was not expecting him to break so late, so early, I should say. Kachau probably expected to go around the outside, but we've split off into a couple of groups now. And it's going to be interesting to see when people start to come into the pits. So who's going to blink first? I do wonder, because of course you don't want to come into the pits while you're by yourself. You want to have your DRS buddy, you could say. As now Kachau looking to set up another move. Dominique going defensive. Is he going to go to the inside? Doesn't know where to go. To the middle. Kachau around the outside. Is the Ferrari going to have a look? There's Rogers up the inside, going to get swamped, and the Williams now looking to get around the outside. Is he? No, everyone going to hold station for the time being. The McLaren looking to the outside of the Ferrari, going to set up a cutback, really pushing everyone through, bumper to bumper to bumper. It seems as they all try and negotiate their way through down this second straight, and it is looking extremely close to the front. And I'm going to be sure we're in for an exciting second half of the race. Doesn't matter as much now track position, but it definitely will come lap 40, probably lap 45 onwards. You want to be at the front.
Yeah, of course, you ERS drains, your tires go off. You want to be in that position while you can still attack or defend. And you really need your tires to make a move around here. We'll see lap 22. Does Domely box? He fakes it. He fakes it. Rogers comes in. He's the only one in the pack going for the undercut. So let's see what he does. It says that he's going for the mediums, and that is the one stop. So he will be going on to the end on this stint, according to the game. That is curious.
I mean, he's done 23 on the soft, so I mean, only probably in relative specs, probably only about 16 or 17 more on the medium. Shouldn't be too much. Hopefully he should be okay. But the thing is, he's come in. Where does he come out? Has he come out in traffic? Yes, he has, which if he needs to battle his way through, could cost him a lot. He's going to have the DRS of his teammate in front of Stuart Little, who's gone for the hard tyres. So he's got DRS in front, just needs to not battle too hard, and hope that these guys at the front pit soon so he doesn't lose out too much time, or the guys at the front start battling. But it's either going to work really well for Rogers, or it's going to turn out really bad.
Yeah, I was gonna see if the guys in front pit. Domely goes in, Kachau follows, Honesy continues, Kalirup continues as well. So those guys stretching it another lap. Yeah, well, where will Kachau and Domely come out compared to Rogers? That will be the exciting thing to watch, as the Mercedes now makes his way up to the... As we have a yellow flag, as it's a Red Bull, the Red Bull of Will Ans. Now the slipstream from Stuart Little will help him a lot, but he's still in front. Yeah, Domely is still in front of Rogers, but Kachau lost out because of that 5-second penalty that he had to serve.
Yeah, big shame for Kachau. He was looking really good, just a shame he had to serve it in the pits, and he wasn't just added on at the end of the race, which is definitely a big shame. But interesting to see where Honesy and Kalirup will filter in. Of course, Rogers just staying station. It seems everyone's staying station for the time being, and all going for the medium. So all confident that the tyre wear is looking good towards the end of the race. So are the medium runners going for medium to stop, as Honesy and Kalirup are both now in. So all very close on the brakes from Kalirup, nearly into the back of the Ferrari. But going to be interesting to see where these guys filter out.
Yeah. So we'll see that Exotic now takes the lead of this race. Of course, he hasn't boxed yet. He started on this medium compound of tire, but Nevertheless, he leads this race, followed closely by the Alfa Romeo of Delta Lima. So we see the alternate strategy battle between the Mercedes and the Alfa Romeo, as we see the regular one, as Honesy just came out all behind those guys. Kalirop, of course, also had that 5-second penalty, so he tumbled down the order as well. So yeah, it looks like the undercut has paid off pretty well.
Yeah, it definitely has. I mean, there's a difference between an undercut and then going an overcut, and then obviously going a little bit too long, which Honesy might have done. He's going to have the fresher tyres, of course. We can't discredit that, but he's now stuck behind Stuart Little, who's now out of the DRS range from Rogers. So Stuart Little may be playing a bit of a team game here to try and hold up the Ferrari, the reigning champion, of course, and out of DRS range, which is really crucial that he tries to get back into. And if Stuart Little wants any chance of this race, he needs to work with Honesy to get himself up. But yeah, really strange. Honesy's lost out quite a lot. This is looking like Delta Lima is going to get past back Sotic, and they're working really well together. He's going to go in deep though, so the Mercedes is going to be invited to go back up the inside. But is he going to concede? No, he's going to keep his foot in the Alfa Romeo very sideways, and the two medium runners still duking it out despite being on 25 lap older medium tyres. And this is going to be a really interesting thing. How long can these guys take the mediums, and then we'll see if the soft runners can make it all the way to the end on their new mediums.
Yeah, I don't think it's in their favor to battle. To battle right now. It's they're almost being held get up by the guys who are already boxed by the actual lead. So they should just move on, help each other out, and they'll probably they'll lose a lot of time by battling here.
Exactly that. They're probably the only two on track that really want to work together and not lose as much time, and they should probably just gain off each other, harvest each other's slipstream, their safe fuel, safe tyres, whatever it might be, to help propel them further on into the race, which is what they need to do. But Honesy looking very quick now, already cleared Stuart Little, and now onto the back of Rogers and Domi Lee. So the reigning champion really now stretching his legs, but burnt through a lot of ERS to get there. So hopefully now the tow hook is permanently in place, and he can start saving to try and rebuild his strength, hopefully, and go for another charge, because we've seen him cut through the field before. So we'll have to see how it progresses.
Yeah, I've raced this man a lot of times. If you think he can't do it anymore, well, he has a surprise for you. The race isn't over until you cross the line, and he'll show you why. So it's never over with a guy like Honesy in the lobby, as Domely now creeps up to the back of Delta Lima and his teammate, who both haven't pitted. What lap are we expecting them to box?
Well, I mean, there is someone retiring from session. Looks in the pit lane. Dominique very close. I think he's gotten away with that one, but he might be under pressure from the McLaren, and now going to get up the inside of the Alfa Romeo down towards turn 4. Very nice done, but the Alfa Romeo keeping it on the outside and actually fighting this one out, which could be a massive headache for the Mercedes. The McLaren looking to make it 3 wide, doesn't know where to go, zigzagging around, going to go to the inside, make it 3 abreast, and then back out of that one and probably try and follow the McLaren, the Alfa Romeo back up the inside, but it's still side by side of the Mercedes, and he's now got a car in between him and the DRS train. So Rogers needs to get through quickly, otherwise Domi Lee could be soaring up, but there goes the McLaren up the inside, big dive. Has he managed to hold it? Yes, he has. Honesy now looking to get involved, and this is all kicking off because the slower medium runners are really getting in the way and making a massive headache for the front runners, and Dominique needs to get clear now. This is his chance to maybe break clear. He's got his teammate on the back of him. Is he going to let him through? It looks as though the two Silver Arrows are just going to play second fiddle, and that it could be Domi Lee in a very good position now if he can clear away from the DRS train. Here comes Rogers on the inside of the Alfa Romeo. Dummy's to the inside, very light under brake. He's going to make contact with Domi Lee, nearly so close. No damage, luckily, but that was some very fine lines he was running there. Sent it up the inside, and luckily didn't take Domi Lee out there.
Oh, that was very close racing there between the McLaren and the Mercedes driver. Of course, the tire deficit between these guys is absolutely insane. So Honesy moves past the Alpha. Keeps it side by side on the outside. Honesy 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings here. So he holds this 3-second now, which will probably ruin his race unless the other guys make mistakes as well. Yeah, 3 seconds on a track like this is a lot.
It really is, and the top 5, of course, separated by less than that. So he could lose that big time. Just going to set up past Zotic, who seems to be playing it a little bit more sensibly and decided not to fight this one too hard. Just going to allow the Ferrari up the inside and hope for the best. And there is the Ferrari pretty much comfortably up the inside. But Dominique didn't quite get at the second range. Rogers is still there and now got the tow hook back in and able to reel back in the Mercedes for the race lead. So lap 30 of 57 then, and it is really heating up now. This is crunch time, this second half of the race. Everyone is looking to get their head down and now start making those crucial moves. Delta Lima and Zotic still fighting it out and still on 29 lap old medium, so probably going to go for around about maybe till lap 35, maybe go 22 on the softs like we saw the original soft runners do.
Yeah, I think so. I think maybe they can do a little bit more because of the lower fuel, of course. As Stuart Little tries to move up the field, he doesn't go around the inside there of Exotic. I think he wants to have this DRS for the upcoming straight. Now he goes for the move, also allowing Kachau to creep up and blast behind there on the right side of the track. Kachau back up to in P4 after losing 5 seconds in the pits. He's almost a second down to Honsi. He's still in this race.
He very much is still in this race. Anything can happen, of course, and Honesy just losing the DRS of Rogers, so it is spreading out a little bit more thinner and out than we saw in the first stint. But Kachau, incredible pace, blistering pace to put himself back in, and he's still got quite a lot of ERS to use. So with Kachau's pace, could Stuart Little sort of have a tow hook and a free ride back up to the top 3. Just have to see what Kachau's pace is like and how much he's going to push. Remember, these tyres have to go to the end, and
Stuart
lockups
Little
like
lagging.
that is not going to help at all.
No, but Kachau seems to be pushing very hard to make up for this time, of course. Honsi outside of the DRS has to look out here. Otherwise, Domely and Rogers will run away if they're smart. Rogers moving up to P1 around the outside of Domely. Domely holds it. No, it's still Rogers now on the inside line. He gives up there, going up to the second DRS zone here. Almost side by side. No, I think you're too far behind if you use ERS. Domely defends smartly the inside line. No, it's too far back for a cutback, which has allowed Honsi to get back up into the DRS. More battling like this will get Kachau back into the mix as well.
Definitely will. Rogers and Dominique having a nice little side-by-side battle there, but it's allowed Honsi to latch onto the back of this DRS stream as well. And as you say, of course, more of the same will allow Kachau to close up as well. But it looks as though he may be struggling a little bit. He's lost a bit of time to Honsi in front, but yeah, definitely turned now into a 3-horse race. But do not count Kachau out. He's had some blistering pace recently, and is going to be looking to build upon that in the closing stages as Delta Lima picks up a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That is not going to help his alternate strategy course, as now the medium runners are coming in for their first and only stop.
Yeah, I don't know about the medium to soft strategy. I'm not sure. I think it's possible for sure, but I think the softs will be very, very slow at the end of the race. They'll be very quick in the beginning, but I think in the later stages, when the wear kicks in and the temps kick in, there is just nothing, absolutely nothing left of those tires. But we'll see that unfold. Kachau still losing a bit of time to the front runners, who have of course DRS. Kachau has to do it all on his own. He did lose Stuart Little, so Stuart Little couldn't match Kachau's pace. So battles up in the front, allowing Kachau to win a couple tenths on the braking. Honsi getting very close now, smelling that first position. Being in P3 in this little train, not the ideal position, because you have difficulties overtaking the guy in front because he has DRS as well. Of course, he's lagging also a little bit. Rogers in the McLaren, you see him flicking around the track a little bit, hoping that Honsi Honesy can drive with something like that in front without being too much of an issue. Donnelly has led for most of this race. What are your opinions on him so far?
I mean, he's driving fantastically. He's holding his nerve, but you can see how much ERS he's having to use to stay there. Here comes Honesy on the back of Rogers, then looking to the inside. He's going to get squeezed all the way. Domily also in the way. They're going to be 3 abreast down towards turn 1. Honesy for the race lead up the inside, goes in a bit deep. The Mercedes manages to get the cut back, but the McLaren not so much. So there's Honesy up into second place. Made the move for the lead, but a very nice cutback from Domily to hold on to his first position. A very nice bit of tussling there, but he's not got a lot of ERS in the bank. Needs to start saving that up if he wants any chance, because these guys behind, as soon as it comes to the last couple of laps, they're going to eat him up, and then they're not going to be so kind to him in the last couple of laps. As soon as they activate that button, they're going to get a lot more overspeed. But this little tussle has allowed Kachow to close in a little bit more. He's going to be chipping away at this lead, and he's still got another 23 laps or so to come chip away at it some more.
Yes, all that battling has allowed Kachow to creep up yet another 3/10 closer. So I think Kachow can get into the DRS in a couple of laps if we're moving again. We see Honesy going for that move on in the lead. He does. Gets himself in P1 around the outside. Donnelly manages to hold it around the inside. Yes, we see him doing all this race, defending the turn 1 on the inside to hold the inside line for turn 4, going up to this little straight. It's a very smart defending tactic because it doesn't allow anybody to really overtake him. He does have to use a lot, but now Honesy around the outside uses his ERS to get that little bit of extra, that 130 horsepower extra there to get past Domely now into the lead. Also red lights flashing there on the Ferrari, which means he's under 10% ERS. The same counts for Domely. Very close battling. Kachow 1.3 seconds behind, so another 4/10 last lap. All this battling allows Kachow to make it a 4-man fight again.
Yeah, definitely turning into a 4-horse race. There goes Domely back up the inside. Very nicely done. Honesy to the inside. Deja vu. Is Domely going to keep his foot in once again? Yes, he is. But is Honesy going to send it around the outside? Bit of contact as Rogers closes up under braking. This is allowing Kachow to start licking his lips and rubbing his hands. 1.2, 1.1 is the gap. He is slowly getting there. Still side by side. Domely squeezing Honesy all the way to the inside. He's going to hold it tight. Is Domely going to go around the outside? Tries to turn it in. Honesy very sideways. There's contact with the 2 race leaders. Rogers doesn't really know where to go. And now Kachow is well established into the DRS zone, and it is once again a 4-horse race for the race lead on lap 37 of 57. This has been spicing up to be an absolute incredible race. Yeah, well done there to the Alfa Romeo driver, of course, getting that 5-second time penalty for those ridiculous yellow flags after that little glitch we had in the middle part of the race. As Honesy goes out way wide to the right, hoping to break the DRS there, the slipstream. But yeah, compliments to Kachow for regaining his place among the top guys. Yeah, very much well done to him. Very much respect for that. Bit of a lagging going on, bit of rubber banding going on up at the front, but all keeping it clean so far. Not too much contact to report at the front. And Domely really getting his elbows out. He's led most of the race. Does not like the look of Honesy getting off to the season with a win. The reigning champion, of course, wants to get the season off to a good start. Out a bit wide. Forward side by side, but he's going to have to claim the corner. Yellow flash reset to 3. It looks as though Mark of Kenya has retired on track. So could we see a safety car? That could spice things up as Kachow gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, so that is just added. As Honesy glitches through Domely. Oh, what is going on? Yeah, a virtual safety car. Is anyone gonna box? Oh, as Mark of Kenya hit the wall, he really retired. Is Honesy coming in? Honesy does come in. Oh, that is a risky move there from he left the session. What is going on? Well, this is very, very strange. What is going on there? I thought Rogers coming as well, but it looks as though he just dummied. So did Honesy not mean to come in and then just decided to pack his bags? not entirely sure there, but that is definitely an extra runner out of the way. So Kachao up to the top 3 as we're under VSC. We'll go back to green flag racing. Is it going to stay green flags for very long? It looks as though we are, and the glitch is sorted itself out. Yellow flags will set the 1. What's happened there? Looks like a bit of a confuffle as Honesy's AI leaves the pits and hasn't actually pulled over just yet. So he's out of the race, but out on track. So a very, very strange turn of events, it seems.
Yeah, I have no clue what is going on. I think that might have been a mistake there from the Dutch driver. We'll all be hearing about it in the notebook next week. Watch that on YouTube, on this very channel. It will also be in the Discord chat for all the people watching back, of course. Yeah, it's a new thing this year coming to the to the NRL League. Something we copied over from one of our sister organizations and sister leagues, Switchback Formula Racing (SFR), which will be also done by Van Rocco, the legend. So quick shout out to Van Rocco there. As Domely still is leading this race, followed by Rogers and Kachao. Stuart Little, of course, boxed for softs as well. That's Exotic, Delta Lima. Kali Rob went for the mediums for some strange way. But we all see it unfold here in the last 17 laps of this hour-long race, which has been led mostly by the Mercedes driver.
Yeah, Dommy Lee really having a dominant display, but I have to see how it helps out because Rogers just sat behind. He's been chilling, just you know, minding his own business. Hasn't really got involved, hasn't picked himself up any damage or anything of the sort. Just sat behind at 84% ERS and just waiting. He's waiting for his chance. Dommy Lee hasn't been able to save up a lot of ERS, so probably just waiting for that last couple of laps where he can push the button, overtake and get his way through. Just doesn't want to leave it too late, of course, as we're now in the closing stages of the race. Well, despite it being, you know, still 17 laps of the race to go, it is very much the closing stages of the race for such a short track. But yeah, Rogers in a very, very good position, 84% ERS, and he's going to be looking probably favourite to win, in my opinion, the McLaren driver. We'll just have to see what he can do, as they all run a little bit wide. Dominique very wide, probably to avoid getting a warning there, as he pretty much just drives himself off the track there. Hopefully no warnings done, and this is a race decided on track rather than penalties.
Yeah, we do have a couple of penalties, of course, as we'll go on. Kachao has a 3-second time penalty. His teammate Delta Lima has 5 seconds. Kali Rob holds 8 seconds. Mr. Wood 5. Tedwardo 3. Tiny Dartspike 3, and Sam Spaniel 3 as well. So we have a couple of drivers with penalties. So we'll see what role they will play come the end of this race.
Exactly. That penalty is, of course, in such a close scenario, as you said, is going to play a massive role. But Kachao seems safe from behind for the time being, so looks secure for the podium. But it's just a shame, especially everything's been thrown against him. It seems, the Alfa Romeo driver, and he's still driven through it, and is looking good for a podium so much as he keeps it clean. Yeah,
podium will probably be in it for Kachao, as I don't see Stuart Little regaining 15 seconds of 15 seconds over this last 15 laps. Make it 14 as of now. D. Rogers now launched his attack into the lead. Domely decides not to defend it really hard. Maybe decides to as Rogers spins! He mazepins it into the wall. Oh, that is a shame. Didn't make a single mistake up this far. No, that is a shame for the McLaren driver. Still in podium place position, but his teammate is getting close. But this has now become a two-man fight for the victory here. Domely versus Kachao.
Yeah, exactly that. Big shame from Rogers, and I have to apologise there. Probably more commentators cursed than anything I said. He was favourite to win, and the bottle had opened. But big shame. He did look very good to take a win there, but now picked himself up quite a bit of damage. Just got a bit too excited on the throttle pedal, it seems, and Dominique now comfortably up into the race. But Pressure isn't all gone yet. He's got Kachow behind him with quite a bit of ERS. Just needs to chip away at that. Interesting to see what Rogers is going to do. Is he going to come into the pits and bite the bullet? It seems as though he is, and he's going to be on the recovery for the last 14 laps or so. Big shame though from Rogers. It must be said.
Yeah, that allows his teammate to move up into podium place positions, also being on the soft and gaining. But I don't think it will be enough to to make any difference. Excuse me, onto the top steps of this podium. This race will be won by either Domely or Kachow, as my TV will quit if I don't. Yeah, so excuse me for that. Now Kachow still closing up behind Domely, of course, has to negotiate that 3-second time penalty, so he doesn't only need to pass him, he needs to gap him for 3 seconds, which seems like a monstrous task, certainly on this track, on a short track like this. It seems like almost impossible. What do you think?
Well, yeah, as you say, it's almost impossible, but Kachow has really come out with some surprises, so we'll have to wait and see what he can do. The crucial thing first is to get past and then get out of DRS, which without a mistake from Dommy Lee is going to be very hard, because he has not put a foot wrong for the entire race and really showing some good consistency there, especially now with the reigning champion out of the race. He's putting a good step forward to try and carry some momentum into the season. And the opening round, of course, is going to be a big boost of confidence to see if he can win, and everyone trying to get off to a bang. But Kachow, yeah, just going to have to see what he can do. Where has Rogers come out? On the brink of points, so still there and closing. We'll just have to see where he can recover to. But some great pace and a big shame for a lot of people today. But overall, been relatively clean and a good race.
Ooh, Stuart Little grabs his first penalty, a 3-second one. Yeah, as Kalirop now closes into that 3-second barrier, so that is not a good penalty to have, but of course Kalirop has 8 seconds worth of time penalties, which is a lot more than Stuart Little does. Don't think Kalirop needs to box another time. No, he doesn't, so he will remain with those 5 seconds. We'll see if those get removed. That will be the job of one of the stewards. We'll leave that at that. Rogers puts in a 59.3 as the fastest lap. Expected, of course, because he's on that new soft compound of tire. Going back up to the front, Kachow still behind the Mercedes driver. We can just, yeah, I can only compliment him on his drive this far. Really kept his position, that P1 there for Domely. He's been very dominant in the race, very good start, and has held his position almost every lap ever since.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, he got off to such a great start, battling with Rogers almost side by side for the entire first couple of laps, and then managed to get himself past and into lead, and just held it ever since. Of course, ERS has been a bit of a problem, but Kachow yet to mount a challenge just yet, and Dommy Lee putting his car in exactly the right spaces to cover it off, so you can only compliment these two at the front. Kachow, of course, on a mission to get himself back after a 5-second penalty, and Domely just holding the position, really good to hold his nerve under pressure for so long. 57 laps, well, I should say more so, probably about 46 laps at the front, and it's been such a close race, and these two are the ones to come out on top pretty much unscathed. So 2-horse race at the front, we'll have to see what they can do. Domly Lee still can pick himself up a penalty as well, so it's not all out of the books yet, and Kachow going to be pushing all the way to the very end to see if we can get this one in the bag.
As he looks like he's mounting an attack, the red light flashes from the Mercedes. Does he move down the inside? He doesn't. No overbraking there, no lockups, and looks like Kachow just holds off here and just slots into P2 still. Domely very dominant here this race. Looks like we have the close battle here between Tiny Darspike and Tedwardo. They're getting very close up into the last corner. Allows D Rogers to not only gain 1 but 2 places from P10 up to P8. Yeah, shows how quick he is on that fresh soft compound of tire. Making a huge difference here in the end stages of this race. Will be exciting to see if he can reel in the other Renault of Mr. Wood, who is 5 seconds up the road. We don't have any close battles anymore, apart from the battle we have up front. Kachau still behind the Mercedes, as we have 8 laps to go, which stands for 8 minutes. So really the end of this race. There's not much opportunity left here for the Alfa Romeo driver, and he also has to negotiate at 3 seconds. So I think it has to be now or never if he really wants to win this race, or Domely has to make a mistake and get a penalty here.
Exactly that. If I was Kachau, I'd definitely be playing the mental game. Try and show your nose, bait Domely into a mistake. You know, send your nose in, don't fully commit, but enough to send Domely maybe a little bit wide, like here, as he goes a little bit wide and fully off track there, to try and maybe avoid a penalty. We've seen them do that a couple of times, maybe report to the stewards, but who knows, we'll have to wait and see. But Rogers as well, closing on the other Renault of Mr. Woot, who has got a 5-second penalty. So Rogers still looking good to pick up some decent points despite his misfortune. But yeah, as you say, Kachau now or never. Lap 50 of 57, time is wearing out and he's still got the penalty, so just needs to try and maybe bait Domely into a mistake or something of the sort, because it's going to be very tricky to pull out the gap at this stage in the race.
Yeah, lots of guys have penalties in this stage of the race. Only the Mercedes, both Mercedes and the McLaren of Rogers have no penalties. Oh, and the Ferrari of Days, but he is AI, so we can't really count that, I assume. Yeah, so a lot of guys having penalties. It seems to be like it's a very on the limit track. You have to be very, very close here to the limit if you want to gain any lap time, which is of course of massive importance here. If on this tiny track, you just need to find every little inch of a second you can. As Kachau just doesn't seem like he is able to find his way past Domely. He hasn't been so far the last 10 laps, and it doesn't look like he's getting past. The Mercedes has too much straight line speed and enough ERS to play with every single lap to hold his first place.
Yeah, I mean, Kachau has got a lot. It didn't look as though I was on board with him, didn't actually use a lot of ERS, so maybe just waiting for something, who knows. But Domely, yeah, raring thin, so maybe Kachau was just trying to wait for that red light to start blinking, and he starts to save ERS from Domely in front, so who knows, he might just be going for a late move and doing it for pride. Winning the race on track is at least something, rather than finishing P2 and saying if buts or maybes. Who knows, Domely may pick up another penalty or what. So Kachau wants to be in the driving seat. 80% ERS, so he's got the stuff there to use. He's got the resources like Rogers had. So it's just a case of when, as a matter of if. He presses overtake and tries to saw past Domely, because Domely is on his last legs now in terms of battery.
Yeah, I think it will be very close for this last 5 laps of this race, last 5 minutes of this race. We have this race-long battle for the lead. We started off, of course, with that train of 7 in the beginning stages of this race. We lost a couple people down the road. And we ended up with 2, only Domely and Kachau left standing here in the end of this cracking 100% race around the Bahrain short track. Call it the Sakhir variant, if you will. And we had a cracking race. We have
indeed, and as you said, 7 cars at the front, dwindled down to about 2. Domely is going to have DRS from the back marker in front, so probably not the best lap for Kachau to mount a challenge. Probably going to wait until they both clear the back marker and just moving out of the way. Trying to spot his braking point, very difficult to do when you're so close to a car behind, and locking up a lot. But respect to both of these drivers. I mean, they're the best of the 7, it seems, to keep it at the front. 53 or 57 now, wearing to the end of the race, but still all to play for if Domely gets a penalty. Let me have a quick look. His warning situation. It looks as though he's only had 1, so he still needs 2 more warnings to pick up a penalty. But yeah, as you say, yellow flash for sector 1. Interesting to see what was that for.
Yeah, it looked like the Red Bull of Will had a little spin coming out of turn 1. As Rogers gets very close up to P7 and P6 of Wood and Delta Lima. They're of course on way older soft tires than Rogers is. So P6 still up for taking for the McLaren after spinning in P2 and having to box for another set of tires. There's still good points for him on the table. Now Kachau moves very closely around the outside for turn 1. It's a little switchback maybe. No, he's too far. It's not too far too far alongside to really hold it down there. See, almost loses it on the exit. Let's go back here to the fight for P6. Of course, Rogers tires with 9-lap-old softs, they will start to slowly go off as Mr. Wood goes for the move on Delta Lima, which does allow for Rogers to maybe move. Oh, as they get a little pushy here, coming through the first sector. See what we have going on here. Rogers now very close, almost going side by side now with the Alfa Romeo of Delta Lima. He has the inside line. Does he manage to keep it there? He does. Delta Lima tries to hold it around the outside. Just manages to get the inside for the next turn, and he yields for that corner, which gives Rogers P7. Now he can charge on to that P6, which is currently held by Mr. Wood. Oh, as we missed it, Kachau went for the move on Donnelly, and now Kachau is in his lead, but needs to get the 2.5 seconds away still from Donnelly to win this race, with 2 laps to go.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great battle for Rogers, but yeah, Kachau just finally pressing the button on overtake, but has he left it too late? Bit of a lock up there, and he's got his work cut out for him if he wants to stay in the lead of this race. But Rogers, yeah, great recovery up to P6 as well, now past Mr. Wu. But yeah, going to be interesting to see what Kachau can do. 7/10 is the gap. Dominique hasn't got a lot to stay with him, so will Kachau just try and break free of that DRS range? You can see almost out of it, using his energy recovery system to do so. But Dominique just about hanging in as they come down the straight, but he's losing time as opposed to gaining it. He just needs to make sure he's within that 1 second range. But Kachau, yeah, just needs to start chipping away because he's got the pace. He's now well outside of that 1 second range once again. Just needs to try
very close there.
Very fine lines. He's gonna have it actually. Dominique is gonna have the DRS, so not working in Kachau's favour as we're now onto the penultimate lap of this race, and now Rogers goes to move to P5.
Yeah, insane comeback on that on that fresh soft. It just shows you how much deficit that tires really give you here in a 100% race. As Donnelly still manages to stay within that 1 second of Kachau, so it doesn't seem likely that Kachau will pull another 2 seconds unless Donnelly makes a mistake.
It's going to be a tough ask, especially in what is it now going to be 1 lap left. He's not got a lot of time, probably 1.5 laps to do so, so it is looking more and more impossible. But never say never when it comes to F1 league racing and motorsport in general. Still a lot can happen. Dominique may be pushing a bit too hard, but he does not need to make any rash judgments now. He's only got around about 10 corners left of this race to go, and he's in prime position to take the win. Just doesn't need to make any mistakes, just needs to cruise it around, keep it in a straight line, and he should be okay. But Rogers closing up to Cali Rob. He's got 8 seconds of penalties, 3.5 seconds in a lap. Probably a big ask unless Cali Rob makes a mistake, but from where he was to now in P5 shows that he definitely had the pace to take the win today. Yeah,
as we come to the almost the penultimate corner here, coming almost up to the line. Kachau tried everything he had to overcome it. It wasn't enough. So that would mean that we have for NRL Season 4 Round 1 Bahrain short. The winner of this race will be Donnelly in a Mercedes. Absolute cracking drive, followed by Kachau in P2. Will Stuart Little with 3-second time penalties will hold on to P3. Cali Rob manages to get P4, and I don't think that Rogers will get close enough to get that P4 away from the Williams driver. He doesn't. He settles for P5 after a good result, after a comeback. Exotic finishes P6, Mr. Wood P7, Delta Lima P8, Tiny Darspike. He crosses the line in P9, stays P9. Tedwardo 10 and 10. And then Sam Spaniel, Will Ants doing some nice little donuts and destroying the engine for the rest of the season. And rounding the grid off in P13 will be Dace in the Ferrari. Yeah, cracking race, I think. Don't you think?
Definitely have to agree. It was always going to happen around Bahrain Short with the exciting nature, the close proximity, of course, with the DRS trains and what have you. We were not robbed of a good race. Even quali was exciting with how close it was at the front. Probably the top four separated by, what was it, less than a tenth. And then we come to the race, have a 7-car train for pretty much the entire first stint, and then the second stint, pretty much a 2-horse race between Domily and Kachowin. For the most part, Rogers as well, but a costly mistake did cost him, but a great comeback drive to P5, it must be said. And Zotic taking driver of the day with the alternate strategy, did a very, very good job in his Mercedes. Did the team game as well, helped Domily out in that mid stage. Remember, if you helped, did help to help him clear the traffic a little bit better. But the Mercedes going to take the first win of season 4 and a great start. Let's see if he can carry this momentum. But it is looking like a very competitive grid. And will Honesy make it the double? But he's got a lot of talent to compete with.
Yeah, of course. We always knew the grid was strong here for season 4 NRL. Race 1 at least was a cracking one. Won by British driver Domily in a Mercedes. We will. Next week we will have another race. Let's see, where are we heading for next week? Let's quickly have a look. We're heading to Spain, which will be the 17th of April. We're heading to Catalonia. My name is Beard. This was Zach had me joining as well. Yeah, I want to thank you, Zach. Do you have anything to add?
No, just looking forward to next week. It's been a pleasure for a debut for myself, and I think I can talk on your behalf as well that it was a cracking race and a great way to start the season, and looking forward to continuing it to Spain.
Yeah, everybody, thank you wherever you're watching. Thank you for watching the stream. From the commentary team of NRL, thank you, and we'd like to see you next week.